Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's time to pick up where we left off with my 2015 Yukon XL. It's got the L83 in it. I keep saying L86, that's the 6.2 liter. No, L83 is the 5.3. And we are doing the displacement on demand, active fuel management, cam lifter delete, plus some springs and some other good stuff in it. So I'm gonna try to make this engine bulletproof here in the shop on the farm. It's an extensive job, we're getting to it. So if you guys also need help, as I said, go to Danny Johnson's garage. I'll have the link in the description. That is where you need to go if you're really gonna do this how-to yourself. But if you just kinda wanna see it be done here on the farm, that's what this video is about. So also, this video is brought to you by Brooklyn Bedding, so we'll get to that soon. And I finally got leg arms back to the farm. So he's gonna give me a hand. So we're just now getting the harmonic balancer off this car. It's a bear, we'll get her off. Hopefully that timing cover off. To start the process of getting that camshaft out to put the new one in. Let's get to it. So I was wrong, my markings I think are top dead exhaust stroke, but I don't think it matters. You need a top dead exhaust stroke to get the high pressure fuel pump out, to get the tension off of it. Something I did not get is a new seal here. I don't know if I probably should have got a new seal.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, this would be the time.
Oh, yeah. Here, let's get into this now. There we go. Okay.
How's that feels really good.
I mean, the seal will probably be fine.
It's like there's no
famous words, probably be fine.
There's no groove right there, so that's really good.
Or not. I can't get my hand in there. Let's do it this way.
Do you need me to guide you again? Can you see it?
I got it. There we go. Yeah.
Did you get a new belt for your...
I got a new belt for this one. Okay. The other belts honestly looked really good.
Well, it's a stretch to fit.
This one?
Yeah. There's no adjustment.
Oh yeah.
You gotta zip tie it and then rotate the engine over and then it clips right on.
Some stranger showed up, decided to help me.
Hi.
He hasn't gotten the hint yet that I don't want him here.
Hi. Hey Nick, aren't you supposed to be cleaning the shop?
Yeah, I'm making a mess. Oh, that's right. It's
so now
his job. Oh, there we are. Okay, yeah. So
what do we do about this?
What, this wire? He leaves that.
But is it pulled? It's
silicone comes off. He takes out of this little connector here, and that gives enough slack that you can lay this cover to the side. Yeah, he just kind of lays it over here, just like that. Yeah, just enough so the cam can slide with the top. Because we're not taking the high. This is a variable oil pump. It's a good and bad thing. The good is it's pretty cool. It doesn't take as much horsepower because it can vary the amount of oil pressure based off RPM. But it's bad in that it's tough to get at. To remove it, you have to take the oil pan off, which means we have to either pull the engine or take the differential down and drop the oil pan. And it's got swash plates in it and other stuff too that wears out, and you got to line it really carefully. We're not touching that. So we got to take off. So now what he did, we're on top dead center, but I need to double check confirm, and we'll make markings all over the place where the keyway is, on here, the timing chain, put dots all around on the chain on this front sprocket to confirm all that's fine. And then we take this nut out. It's a one-time use nut. And as we take this off, we got to put a zip ties around and zip tie this thing together. It's the phaser, cam phaser.
Oh, it's one of those.
So it can unwind or something. I don't know. So we
were using that?
Yeah, we reuse this. The bolt is new. I got a new one of those, but you reuse this unit. And I see my arrows point at the top, so it's opposite of his, which is fine. The arrow can either point it up or straight down. So the dot on the bottom.
As long as you put it back to the same way.
As long as it's pointed straight up or straight down, and when the cam comes off, you'll see there's a notch on it, a little nub, and we'll know that that's where the new cam lines up. So, but we'll confirm everything before we...
As long as it's in the exact same spot, yes. It doesn't matter.
So this, actually, I think this is top dead center on the compression. Before, with the arrow pointed down, it's top dead on the exhaust stroke, I believe.
So basically, if we don't touch anything right now, we'll just make a bunch of marks where it needs to stay.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty straight up and down.
Is there a plate behind here that holds the cam in?
Yes.
Okay, so this has to come off before you can take the cam. Okay.
So the phaser, gotcha. So when we get the nut out, somehow, I got to look and see, watch again. He takes and zip ties around all this, and zips it tight so that this can't come apart, and then this whole piece just comes off, set it aside. Then you'll have that cover. I got a new cover because it's got a special gasket on it. Take that cover off, then the cam comes out.
Okay.
And the cam's... Oh, we need to take this off, and we got to get the lifter off for the high pressure fuel pump before we can pull the cam out.
That makes sense.
Because that lobe is sitting on it right now.
This guy knows what he's doing.
I just don't understand why I get this black mark under my nose every day. Right there, mustache. Just constantly getting that.
It's when you become a man, Nick.
I keep trying to wipe it off and it just keeps getting bigger.
I don't know. I just think it's when you become a man.
Why am I the only one that has that?
Well, because you're becoming a man.
I'm a real boy. All right, silicone everywhere. Okay, let's figure out the timing on this. He's taking the top valley cover off.
Is there a pry mark?
Yeah, I'm sure it's glued on there pretty good.
Yeah, it probably is. I'm just seeing if there's any mark that you can pry on.
If it
there's
is,
a little bit of spot here I could pry. Yeah, just glued.
There we go. Is it a gasket? Oh, one of those rubber ones, yeah. I think I have a new one of those. It's caught right here.
Let's try to rip it in case of some reason we don't have one.
Okay, so that's the lifter for the high pressure fuel pump. Got to take that out, pull that out. And then got to put the dowel plugs in these ports. And those are what runs the AFM system. And so with the plugs in these, we won't have to worry about oil flowing out of those anymore because we won't need it because we won't be using those lifters. We're putting the plugs in.
So these plugs these plugs are designed with a little tiny taper on them, but they also have a step on it, like a little ridge here. Won't let it go past a certain point.
So what we're gonna do now is we gotta take the chain off the sprocket on the camshaft. This is the phaser bolt right here. One-time use, have a new one of those. We'll put that over here for right now. We marked all over on the timing chain. He's keeping tension on the bottom sprocket to keep that chain on the bottom sprocket. So now he's got to slowly pry the chain off the sprocket. So this is gonna be a fun part. It might take a little bit, but if we get that chain off, we'll take the sprocket off. Then we take the cover off, get the camshaft out. We're gonna keep the chain up tight so that way it doesn't fall off.
We're gonna need little
Picks and
Yep.
Okay. All right, fun job. Just like in the guy's video, it worked. We carefully worked the chain over the top. Got a zip side up there. He put where'd he put that thing? Oh, there, right there. There it is. We just put the phaser bolt back in it and was leaving it there. Didn't zip tie it like he did. So now I get some these T40 something, or what are they? Not 40 something. We'll find it. To take the cover off, and then the cam technically can start its journey out. Now in his video, the notch right here is on the 3 o'clock. Ours is at the 9 o'clock. Like he said, it's fine. It's just a different top dead center, but we're still top dead center. So our markings and stuff should be fine. He said just be careful, kind of lift up on it so it doesn't drag real bad across anything. Real gentle. Made this look easy.
Ooh, look at that one.
The marks on that one?
Yeah.
It's not chewed up, but there's definitely some grooves in it. Taking out my air condenser here. There's no room to spare. Wow. All right, there's the cam.
Look at that one right there. Yeah, you can see these two little, something got on there and scraped it.
Yep. The one that I noticed on the lifter rollers, you could see that. There was a couple that had a mark in them, but I mean, there's no...
Well, here's your problem. They're not all round. Look at it. They got like oblong.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, they're supposed to be perfectly round. I don't understand that.
Here's probably where the oil goes in to feed. No, that's just the regular bearing. Anyways, DOD AFM cam. Not going back in.
Have you ever seen a 4-cylinder cam like that? Does it do that? You gonna try it?
Well, like, I don't know why I'd put this back in there. Sounds really good, right? You just drop it on the ground, right?
Yep, you just drop it. That is not a normal cam.
Nope.
And it's now scarred for life.
Here is our new cam. But we gotta clean it up first.
So, before, with a lot of old Chevy 350 cams and other type of cams, you just take that camshaft, drop it on the ground, and it shatters into a bunch of different pieces. Because a lot of it's like casted.
Yeah, they're cast.
But that's actually steel. Anyways, yeah, so we just need to do a lot of cleaning, make sure it's really clean, and then we can install the new cam.
So we're cleaning up the head or the block right now. We don't have the cam in yet. This is not great. See all the junk going inside these cylinder walls. We'll vacuum and clean them out. We'll suck all the water jackets out as much as we can. There's just not a lot you can do to clean this block up, you know, assembled and inside the engine without getting stuff dropped down. But we'll flush it really good, dump oil down in, drop the oil. It's gonna get a couple oil changes, do our best. But we're using the Scotch-Brite pad, little brake cleaner, and we also ran a razor across, got all the high edges off. So we'll get these nice buffed up, nice and clean like he's doing, looking really good over there. Fix your light here, there. Now it's looking better. Look how shiny that is. One thing I'd be cautious about using a razor blade, the individual that was doing it, he had a plastic scraper. Razor blades are great, but I've noticed that even the razor will slightly catch the edge of this aluminum block and shave a little bit of aluminum filing off. A chip, yeah. So, I don't like that. So you gotta be really careful with the razor when you're working around the edges, because it can just barely shave a little bit off. I mean, you're talking like hair thin, but that, if it gets in a bearing somewhere, not good. Back home for a minute, and we're gonna talk about today's video sponsor, and that is Brooklyn Bedding. Brooklyn Bedding is an Arizona-based company that designs, assembles, and ships their beds from their facility in Arizona, bypassing the middle guy, sending it directly to you, saving money. Shows up in a big box, fit in your room, cut it open, fold it out, and bam, you've got a bed just like this one. This is Sedona. I've had this, it's coming up almost a year now. It's been awesome. So, wife and I have been loving this bed. I prefer more of a firm bed. She prefers more of a soft bed. This is a little in between, so we've been able to compromise on this one. But it's a great bed. It's got multiple layers of foam, all sorts of materials to make it smooth, comfortable, firm on the edges, but soft in the center. Haven't seen any issues of sagging or divots from our bodies on it. It's been a nice mattress. So let's talk about the Sedona. This is one of their many options available. It's got 6 layers of foam and coils, which give you the firmness you need in the areas you need and the softness when you're laying on it. I sleep on my back, wife sleeps on her side. Works out great for both of us. Premium quality materials, excellent handles. It's a heavy mattress, but with heavy comes quality. I also find myself falling asleep quickly on this thing. Doesn't take long. I'm out cold. Maybe I just getting older in life, and I don't know. End of the day, I'm just tired. But it's been excellent for quick sleep, and I don't get too hot on it too. Sometimes with foam mattresses, you get a little bit of heat generated. Doesn't seem to be an issue so far. Now, buying a mattress online is not as bad as you may think. Brooklyn Bedding offers a wide variety of twins, kings, queens, and all sorts of different makes and models. Take their sleep quiz. It's on their website right here. You can take a look at it, and it will show you what mattress is best for you. Not only do they give you a 120-night sleep trial, it's free shipping and a limited lifetime warranty. I love my Brooklyn Bedding mattress. I think you would too. If you're interested in a mattress, go over to brooklynbedding.com or scan the QR code. And to get 30% off your order, use the promo code Welker Farms. Plus, while you're at it, let them know I sent you in their post-purchase survey. Let's get back to the shop, get that car running, for the wife has not only a bed, but a nice car to lug her kids around in. And me. But usually I drive it when I'm in it, and the kids. So, anyways, let's get to that car. It's good having Leg Arms back. He was off on family holiday vacation, seeing family for the last 3 weeks. So we've been barely surviving without him. Now that he's back, I can get stuff put back together. I can take stuff apart. I'm good at that. It's just, you know, it's nice when easier to put it. But anyways, let's put this thing together. So far, so good. I think the block is ready to have heads put on it, but we're not doing that yet. I'm gonna grease their lube with some cam lube, the camshaft. We'll slide it in, get it lined up. I did make some mistakes. I don't think it's gonna be too bad, but I should have made markings on the cover that held the camshaft on. I didn't do that. So we got markings on the chain. The arrow on the sprocket on the camshaft points straight up, so we know that. I know where the notch that goes in the camshaft to the left. So I mean, we really shouldn't get this out of timing, but you know, I should have just been a little more diligent. We were kind of starting to really move fast there, and you know how that happens. So I should remake my marks here. They're kind of getting rubbed a little bit, but we should be okay. So let's grease this thing up. This is the new cam. I was told to take a peek and make sure that this hole is clear. The machining went through it, and it looks like there is no filing or anything. I can blow it out, but it looks good. So anyways, that is a stock cam, but DOD AFM deleted. Put some on every lobe across the entire thing. There we go. Ooh, that is some sticky stuff. Wow. Alrighty. All right, here we go. All right, we're just about, oh, my glove's stuck. Oh, my glove's stuck. I caught my glove. Oh no. There we go. All right, camshaft is in. I just put the new cover on. I got a new one because the gasket's better on it. It says do 132 inch-pounds. So I got this torque wrench set at 132 inch-pounds. There we go. We got a lot of this kind of stuff. Torquing. Had an oopsie moment. We were putting the chain back on the cam phaser sprocket, and we just about had it all the way around, and I was prying, and I must have just, I don't know, caught the edge of this just right, and I wasn't trying to pry hard, but it popped the phaser apart, and it whacked me in the finger pretty good. So, my understanding is it's junk. Once that comes apart like that, you can't do anything about it. You can't recoil it. It's coiled just perfectly from the factory. That's not something you can reassemble. And so I had to order a new one. It'll be here in the morning. $167 later. But we'll get that on when it comes. But until then, I guess we got a couple of things we can do. But really, that's a critical part before we can keep reassembling this. But it was a bear. We worked on it for a while. And we could not get that chain to go over the top of it. And I think partially is because my top dead center is a 180 degrees different than, 180 degrees, that makes sense. A whole rotation different than the video I'm watching. He says it's fine, but your arrow on your cam phaser should either point down at each other or straight up. Ours is pointing straight up. So that's what we were matching. But in the process, I think it makes these little, they're all, God, it's weird why they do that. Anyways, these were hitting down on the bottom of the oil pump, these little bump outs here, which was not letting our sprocket drop down enough to get the chain over the top. That's why we really were fighting it. If it were flipped around, I think we'd have more room to be able to do that. So there's probably a trick there I don't know. You guys are probably going to tell me, but right now I don't know it. So we'll see if that comes. Oh, dead in the water for the moment. Oh, yeah. Who's going to put this back together again? Well, new cam phaser's in. We got a game plan. We know pretty sure why we had so much trouble getting that chain on, the timing chain. It was a result of the cam phaser being oriented 180 degrees, which caused part of it to rub against the oil pump, which then didn't give us enough slack to get the chain on top. So we're going to rotate the phaser 180 degrees, have the arrow point down this time, and we checked with a scope, and actually the dot on the sprocket on the crankshaft is right at the very top dead center, as is the piston, which makes obviously sense. So what we're basically doing is we're turning this thing from compression top dead center, or exhaust top dead center, to compression. So we're just changing the 4 strokes, suck, squeeze, bang, blow. So we're changing the bang and now making it squeeze. Make sense? Let's go. So yes, we're gonna put it in there. We're gonna get this together. Block looks nice and clean, and then we're gonna dump a bunch of oil, used oil, not well used, but lightly, into a lot of portions that we've used for other stuff, blow it all out again, drop the oil in the oil pan, put fresh clean oil in, new filter, run it for a little bit, drop it again, new oil, new filter, and we should be good. Okay. Oh, did we flip the cam 180? Yeah, we did.
Yep. So there's the dot right there.
Are you sure you're on the cam? Like it's
you can see the cam moving right now.
Okay, yep, you are. You know, we should have started.
Let's rotate the engine just a little bit to get this further down.
I'm gonna go, I might as well do more.
Okay, there we go.
Right.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. Now we just need to tap that down right here.
All right, so now
let's see if we
rotate the crank back.
Exactly.
Right.
It just fell in.
Right there. There's top dead center right there.
It just fell in. So let's put this in.
Yep, that's the new one. Yep. So we just got the cam phaser bolt hand tight. Our markings are back to top dead center. Cylinder looks good. He's checking with this camera. We can actually see the dot on the sprocket, on the bottom crankshaft sprocket, that indicates it's at top dead center. He's just looking at it. But if you look down here, hopefully you can see it. You see the arrow pointing straight down now, and then we made a marking completely 180 degrees at the top, counting the same amount of teeth each side. That's pointed straight up how it should be. So technically, we should be fully aligned and timed. So, but we're just gonna do some double checking, look it over, but so far phaser's in and it hasn't blown up on us. That's good. So yeah, that explains, if you guys are doing this process, that's why you can't get that chain back on if you've got the arrow pointed up. You just can't do it because all this mass right here hits that pressure, the oil pump. Now the correct way to do this, if you're really doing this, is you would drop the front differential off the car, take the oil pan, drop it down, undo the bolts, undo the front oil pump, take the oil pump off, take the chain off, then align it, set it up properly, put it all back on, and you would not be doing this that we're doing. The thing is, then you gotta align the fuel pump, or the oil pump, I keep saying fuel pump, and you gotta put the differential back on, and it's like an extra 10 hours of work, and it's not worth it if you can do it this way. So, it's just, we lost $167 cam phaser in the process. Quick update, so we were off a tooth. We put a little bit of a dent, a divot on the very opposite side of the arrow on their phaser here. And as you see, we marked either side of this chain link here. We wanted, that was over to the right one tooth. So it was like, imagine these two right here, that one and that one. So we marked, and we took the whole chain off, reassembled it, so that then those two markings fell on top of the divot we made, which is one tooth that we needed because we thought we were one tooth off, and sure enough, that marking's not right. But with the scope, you can even see it by looking in there. You can see the marking of the sprocket tooth facing straight up, pointing at the casting of this piece, and then the top one of the cam is pointing straight down at it. So, and my line markings are pretty much on. So I think we're good, but you gotta be careful. It doesn't take much to be off a tooth.
So here's one thing for engineers. If you guys are fabricating, making crankshafts, why not put the keyway perfectly in line with the camshaft?
Don't get technical with us.
Because of the keyway, that would be where you need to go off.
You're gonna cause some heads to
explode. Just a thought. I mean, I thought about grinding a new trench for your keyway, but he doesn't like that idea.
That would make sense. Keyway pointed straight up means your crankshaft is at top dead center on piston number 1. Though I know probably some slop does develop a little bit over time with.
But well, the thing is, you want to know where your top dead center is on your piston in the crankshaft. So if you, instead of having a mark behind the oil pump where you have your sprocket, why not make your keyway also
because they want you to pay the extra $2,000 to get your differential down and take the oil pan off, or pull the whole engine to do this. All right.
Fair enough.
Okay, he's got to take off, so I'm going to start the process of cleaning up this cover, putting the cover back on, putting all the bolts back in, and
you gonna pull your
and then
you can pull this up.
I guess so. Tensioner. We can see what it looks like. Yeah. Oh no! Actually, it did turn a little bit. We'll check it again. So he just pulled the Allen we had holding the tension on the timing chain. So the timing chain is tight now. So yeah, I tightened it up pretty good. Nothing's torqued again. Still got to do that. So yes, I've got to put the lock on the flywheel so that I can torque these to specs. But we'll check it again. If you're extra nervous like me and just want to make sure you're on top dead center, you can always put a dial indicator on the piston and then watch it with just grab a wrench like this, put it on your crank, and just sit here and just try to find the highest reading on there. So see how I drop down, put this reverse direction on my wrench here. Watch, I'll go real slow. And there's, see right, and there's the highest point, and it starts to drop down right there. Okay, so that's how you find, or at least so I was sure I am dead on to the top, highest point that cylinder will ever travel is right there. Because I thought I had on top dead center, but then I started looking at my arrow here, and I'm like, it just looks like it's off just a hair, and it just got me nervous. Because that would really be a bummer to assemble all this and find out you're off a tooth. But I mean, I measured from, which I don't know if this is gonna work, but I measured from the corner of that water jacket port to the indicator, that water jacket port to the arrow indicator, and it came out exactly right. And I am on top dead center. I can see my little notch down there, and it looks like it's pointed straight up. So I think we're good. It's just every now and then I look at it, I get cross-eyed, and I'm totally starting to stress, thinking, oh boy, we're going to assemble this engine and put 6, 7, 10 hours into putting this thing back together again and find out that it's off a tooth and tear it all down again to fix that. So just hope we don't have to do that. But I think a dial indicator helps settle my nerves a little bit. Okay, I got the lock on the starter, or the ring gear, I should say, where the starter was. He said 48 foot-pounds is where we're going to start at, so let's go ahead and torque this to 48. Is that 48 already? Oh, wow. Guess I'm already there. Then it says you need to do a 90-degree turn after that. So what they did is they put a wax mark on, so let's pull this back. Yeah, that's 48 foot-pounds. Put a wax mark like that. And 90 degrees would be like right here. Does that look right? Yeah, that looks about right. So I got to get this white mark I just put here all the way over to that indicator over there. Oh boy. Man, that's tight. I don't know if I like that. That seems like a lot. I swapped out and put a breaker bar on. Oh man, that's close. Oh, that's tight. I like that. Let's leave it right there. Call that good. Nothing broke, we'll leave it. All right, that's torqued. So let's start putting it together. Silicone up that cover. Got to put that back on. And I can torque the front harmonic balancer. And now I'm going to install the lifters. So I'll put the lifter trays in with the lifters. Get this cover on top. Oh yeah, it's going to be fun. Let's just make it nice and fast and quick and get done with this. All right, progress update. Tools getting messier by the minute. Obviously none of that's on there yet, so we got a ways to go. But improvements. Front timing chain cover is on. Heads are obviously on. They're all torqued down, 59 foot-pounds, then 90-degree rotations, then 60-degree rotations, minus this one stud right here, or bolt, that needs a 40-degree at the end. What else is done? High pressure fuel pumps in, top cover for the lifters and all that's on. Just put my brand new vacuum pump on. That's a bear. Oh man, bolts in the back are tough to get at. Still got to finish hooking up my exhaust manifolds. Haven't done that yet. Spark plugs aren't in yet. I replaced the seal on the front of the front cover. Wasn't too bad. You can't do it unless you take the cover off. Then you can punch it out and then just press the new one in, which I was able to do pretty easy with just a big socket. So that worked out really good. I don't know, who knows, might have ran, but I had a new one in the kit, so I put it in. So for the front of the engine, I still got to put, I'm going to call it the harmonic balancer. I don't know if that's quite what it is, but I'm going to call it that. On the front of the crankshaft, and got to torque that big bolt down nice and tight, which means I got to put the ring gear stop on. And the rest of this is all leftover extra junk, or not leftover, parts I don't need anymore, like the old vacuum pump and whatnot. When that's on, then the starter can go back on. Exhaust all hooked up, obviously. Then I can start assembling all those goodies. But I do at some point got to put the radiator in here. I have not gotten to that yet because I'd like to get these lines that I probably should have covered. So stuff doesn't get in those. I need to hook those in and get those all the way and get this all tied up in the front here. So yeah, still a mountain of stuff to do, but as long as I did everything right, the mechanical side of this thing is basically done. I pray that that is right. Timing. Oh, please be right. Oh, we'll know soon enough. Okay, well, next day, you can see sun's coming up. I am ready to get this thing done. For one, it takes up a chunk of the shop with all my junk everywhere. And there's a lot we need to do to this shop, and this is kind of the way. So I really need to get this done. Two, I gotta go on a trip for the next few days, so this is gonna sit in the shop if I don't get it done today. So guess what? Pressure's on. I gotta get it done today. I'm close. So let's keep on pounding away. Let's pray my timing's correct and everything's torqued correctly, and reassemble this thing. and let's see if we can start it. And if I can start it and get it running, run it for a little bit, and then I'm gonna drop the oil in the filter, put brand new oil in it, and go take it for a drive. We are making good progress. Radiator's in, AC pump's in, alternator's not on yet. Still got to put the serpentine belt on. All the valve covers are on. The what do you call it? Coils are all hooked up. Fuel system's all hooked up. Really getting close. But one thing we're gonna do, which a lot of you are gonna frown on, and a lot of you are gonna be like, "That's a great idea." I did it accidentally because I broke mine trying to take it off of my previous pickup.
I purposely did it on mine.
He cut his because he got so mad because of ridiculous it is, but it's this cover right here that goes in the back, okay? Goes on top of everything. Well, how they want you to do it, which is what mechanics do, and they probably will say, it's not that hard, just do it how they're supposed to do it, which I probably agree. You're supposed to unbolt this thing, lift it up, and then drag the intake manifold out from underneath it, okay?
With it all.
Yeah, and it is, and then the worst part is on the back, you've got 4 Christmas tree plugs on that back harness there that plugs into the back of it. It's just to hold it from maybe shaking. Well, this hook right here, this little hook, is an absolute pain because of that, and trying to get at those. It's tough. It's a nightmare, and it takes so much time. And if you just take a nice little saw, and you cut this out right here like that and take that piece off, all of a sudden, you can just slide that in and out without having to take your intake manifold off first and pulling it all out.
Well, the other thing too is when you're putting this on, you can carefully put it on, make sure everything lines up perfectly without trying to wedge everything in there with that on top.
Yeah.
It sucks.
So the downside with doing this is you get a little more sound traveling into your firewall because there is a little bit of soundproofing here, not much, but a little bit. The other thing is those spots where the Christmas trees and that harness attached to are no longer there. So your harness is just gonna hang there. But I think I'm gonna make some zip tie points and I'm gonna tie. I've got a aftermarket transmission level line right there. That's a great place. I might zip tie that right to that. And there's a nice spot over here on the firewall I'm gonna hook to, and that way my harness will be secured. So just for you guys who wanna do that, do it. It works. My pickup's been running great ever since I did to mine. His Yukon's been running great ever since he did to his. Even his mechanic that helped one time was like, why'd you do that? And then later his mechanic was like, that was actually kind of nice to put that in there without having to take the intake manifold and slide it on me. So anyways, food for thought. Moving on. I had to cut mine out, but I didn't cut it all the way. I left that one Christmas tree hole there and that one right there. So that way the harness has 2 points to connect to. It just lost 2. So hopefully that's enough. We can slide this in and out. If it's not, I'll cut it a little bigger, but that way at least maybe we can save some of those anchor points for that harness. Just finished adding coolant to the engine. We're gonna have to probably do more as we go because I'm sure there's air pockets. Oil's good, filled it up enough to where I'm happy to drain it in a little bit. He's hooking the battery up right now. A trick that we learned from a mechanic shop. If you guys have newer vehicles, I'm sure all of them are this way, but if they've got a variable vane oil pump for the engine, at least the GMs, you can damage the pump if you drain the oil and then just crank, and it starts and runs before oil gets back up that pump. So you kind of need to prime the pump, and a way to do that is push the accelerator all the way to the floor with your foot, then turn the ignition on and hold it, and just crank it for a while. It doesn't matter. Crank it for 30, 40 seconds or something. It's not gonna hurt anything, but that'll spin everything over slowly and get oil up into your oil pump and start putting oil through your system before you just go bam, 1,000 RPM. Because some of these, they like to jump up to 1,000, 1,200 RPM for a little bit and then they settle down. That way you're only doing like, 10 RPM instead of that and get your system primed. So anyways, trick, do it. Every time you change oil, remember that. Accelerator to the floor and then let it off, turn the key off, you're done, and then try it again without the accelerator down and it'll start. So I'm a little bit nervous. It's always that way. You listen. I'll crank, and you can see if we hear anything pouring on the ground. Okay, here we go. The DOD has been deleted because I did put a tuner on it, and flashed it. So I still need to do a custom tune, which is pretty awesome. You send it off, and they'll do your parameters. You do a test run, get all your parameters, your sensors and everything, your elevation, and then he'll make a custom tune for you. When I say he, Diablo Sport, Lou, he's awesome. But anyways, yeah, I did just do this tuner though and deleted. So it isn't gonna try to go to V4 mode because the DOD system is not in there. Do I clear the codes first? See what it says before I start this. I'm curious if it. Press brake to start. So I guess I gotta press the brake and the accelerator. Show codes, no codes, because it hasn't ran yet. All right, so I'm pressing the brake, pressing the accelerator to the floor. Here we go.
Well, you could try firing it up. It'll sound like that until it gets oil on all the rockers, because we got those bushings. If the timing was off, this thing would not run like it is right now. We're just hearing a little bit of clicking, and it's just trying to get all of the oil through all your lifters. And since we put those brass bushings inside your rocker arms, it's going to take a little bit to kind of just work it all, get the lubrication around, and then pretty soon you don't even notice it. Same thing happened in my vehicle. When I fired it up, I was hearing that exact same kind of clock. Well, I mean, you're still trying to get the oil through all the lifters, and
the computer's got to get it figured out again.
It needs to run for a little bit, but if you can see all the steam coming off of it from the oil residue and the coolant that got mixed around on the headers and. No, that's your rocker arms. Mine did that too when I first got mine. And then after a while, when it finally wore itself in, or it lubricated it.
A lot smoother, or as far as the noise.
Yeah.
You give it a little bit of throttle.
Oh yeah.
Sounds great. It's good. So the question is, can he do a burnout with a lowrider like this? I mean, look at this thing. These jams always have a shake, Nick.
That's more than it was. I can feel it. It's a weird vibration. Our oil pressure is 40. So it's been idling. I'm giving it a couple pedals to the floor every now and then, but about, I don't know, 5 minutes. All the indicators are working, so temperature, oil pressure, everything there. No engine codes yet. There's a slight vibration, about 900 RPM. It kind of shakes a little bit. Could be a number of factors. Like you said, the lifter's still, got to get all the air out. But the big thing is also the injectors. There's air in the fuel system that's got to get purged out. And then the computer's got to kind of think through this too. So that could be what's going on as well. But it should say, I think I can check in here, V8 mode. Let's see, where's that at? Info? No. Somewhere I go. There, it says V8 right there. So it's in V8 mode right now. So that's good. Well, we must have gotten the timing right. It's got to be right. It wouldn't be running like this and be throwing bad codes. Just got the oil hot, dropped it, changed filter, put new oil in, 530 this time, not 020. 020 is too light for these things. 530 is the way to go. I know it says 020. Put 530 in. They even recommend it now. It's better for your system. Anyways, I'm not done yet because 130,000 mile vehicle. I don't think anything's ever been done. It needs all new struts across the whole thing. So I've got rear, front. I also have mud flaps. This does not have mud flaps. We're on a farm. We need mud flaps because the side of your vehicle here gets destroyed. Mud flaps. And then I've also got a light lift kit I'm putting across the whole thing too. I just can't stop myself. I have to modify everything, but I'm putting a lift kit on this because it's a farm vehicle. It's gonna go in the fields. The wife's gonna be driving around the farm, and that extra inch and a half suspension can save you a mess under your vehicle. I know you might lose a little miles per gallon, but it's worth it instead of wrenching on your underside of your vehicle. Not worth rocks. So yes, lift kit, good. I'm not done yet. Let's get this done. Then I can drive this thing. All right, well, I just got some old hardware out, put some new hardware in, put the inch lift on, or body leveling kit, got the fender flares or fender mud flaps on, inside liners in. Yeah, I'll need to get an alignment done on this vehicle. Obviously, I've changed some of the suspension, so alignment will be done. But I gotta put the wheels on it to drop it down and get weight on it so I can get the sway bar attached back up, because right now it's too far down to hook that. So I might switch to the back now, pull these wheels off, and then I might, it's been a while since I've done this, but shocks are easy to do. I think I gotta remove the sway bar in this too to put the blocks in for the rear coils, so that way it lifts the back up. So we're not like, you know, that, we're level. All right, I think I'm done. Here we go. It's driving under its own power. One thing I haven't checked yet is the transmission fluid. I suppose I should do that right now before I take off. It leaked a little bit, but not a ton. All right, transmission was right on the cold mark, which is fine because it's on the cold. So we'll see what it's like when it gets warm. No engine codes yet. Seems to be running pretty smooth. I didn't keep a thorough track of my hours, but I'd say all in all, I got a good 20 in it at least. And then, of course, my brother was there too. Leg arms, he was helping. So, you know, it's hard to say what it was final, but it was, yeah, it was all of 20 hours to do that. It's, if anybody tells you they did it in 6 hours, they are a NASCAR champion. Whew. Yeah, that would be nuts. But nothing's impossible, right? New shocks, new struts. It's a little bit stiff, I can tell already just driving down the road. It was doing the whole rock thing when I hit bumps when I bought it, so I knew it was time. And they definitely didn't have the spring they should. You'd push them in, they'd slowly extend out. So yeah, they were definitely bad. And with this lift kit, I'm curious how the stance looks on it. I like taller vehicles, especially when you have kids that need help climbing in and out. It makes it so much nicer. My wife likes it too. But I hate driving over rocks. So you know what? I'd rather have a tall vehicle than rocks. And yes, I'm gonna clean my face, don't worry. It's part of the job. So far, so good. I think this is gonna be a great vehicle for the family. We got a bench in the middle, because I've got 7 in this family, and you never know when a kid wants to tag along, friend or something. So as of our old vehicle, we were maxed out on every seat. Now we got 1 spare. But no, it's this is good. So would I recommend doing this job to your vehicle? Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to do it, it's a good way to help guarantee some headache down the road. But I'll tell you what, it is a headache to do this job. So I got quoted $5,500, not including parts, to have someone do this job, do the delete to it from a shop, a very reputable shop. Now, granted, they would take the heads and they would machine them and go through everything, do a little way more extensive to that than I did. You know, and so I probably have 2,500 maybe at most in parts. I guess that's suspension and stuff too. Probably 1,500 in DOD stuff. So, I mean, I saved quite a bit of money. You know, that's like $5,500. But I also spent 20 hours of my own time to do it. We also have a shop to do it in and a little bit of the know-how. And nice YouTube videos from Danny. Thank you, Danny. Johnson's Garage is amazing. So, yeah, but basically with this vehicle, I paid $15,500 for it. It's got basically a brand new transmission, just deleted the engine. It's got 130,000 miles on it. The cross hatching in the cylinders looked absolutely amazing. So I think, yeah, I think I got a good deal on it. So for under 20K, got a vehicle to hopefully run to 250K, 300K, easy. All right, later guys. Thanks for watching. God bless. More to come, but not with this thing. Hopefully not.